Well, it looks like Tyler Myers has refused to waive his no-move clause to come to Detroit. Steve Yzerman's going to have to move on quickly because the trade deadline is just under a week away at this point. But for some good news, Carter Mazur has been skating with the team in Grand Rapids, and apparently he's nearing a return to action. It's going to be a wild ride for the rest of the season as we get near the final 20 games in both Detroit and Grand Rapids. This is your 7-Minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report with Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura. Please remember to click that like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't, and share this out. So I'm going to go right into the lead right now. Tyler Myers apparently has refused to waive his no-movement clause to come to Detroit. The initial reports out of Pro Hockey Rumors said wrongly, apparently, that Myers had selected Detroit as a preferred destination. The scenario being laid out now is that 4 or 5 days ago now, Detroit made an offer that Vancouver liked. Vancouver approached Myers and ended up sitting him out, asking him to think about waiving that non-movement clause to Detroit. It sounds now like there was never an indication that Myers was going to do that. He's rumored to want to go to Dallas at this point. I'll admit, this is a deal I was excited about, but a lot of you were kind of on the fence about this one, or some of you just didn't like the deal at all. Right now, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed. It's also that feeling, like last year with Trouba, that players just don't want to come here when they have that no-move protection. And like Trouba, Detroit's spending time pursuing these players who have zero interest in coming. That feels like you're wasting time and energy on something that's just not going to happen. And I don't know how you address it. You can't exactly talk to the player and their representation without going through the team because that's tampering. It feels like Yzerman needs to do a better job of gauging a player's potential interest before putting together an offer like this, and I'm not sure how you go about that. If you have thoughts on that, let me know in the comments. But on the positive side, I do think more players are warming up to Detroit. I think that what the team is accomplishing, the energy around Dylan Larkin, the energy around Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider, I think they're going to have an easier time with free agents and with players going forward, but still these full no-movement guys, and someone like Tyler Myers who wants to win a cup, you're looking at trying to get to a contender at this point. So again, I think you just have to pick your battles, but I do think you're going to start to see more and more players be willing to come to Detroit as they go forward, especially if they make the playoffs this year. I think that'll be a huge benefit overall when it comes to trades and free agents. So after Myers, you turn your attention back to Justin Falk. He's been the top target defensively since Rasmus Andersson was taken off the market. At this point, it sounds like the Blues are asking for a similar return to what Calgary got for Rasmus Andersson. A young player, a prospect, a first, and a second. That's fairly steep. So what it could look like for Detroit, if they're asking for that, is you'd be sending over someone like Nate Danielson, possibly Boyum, a first and a second for Falk, who signed through next year at $6.5 million. And it may be higher than that. Danielson I could see as a piece they'd take, but they may want something above where Boyum is, and I'm not sure what they're asking for at that point. So and St. Louis is the trade partner I'd prefer, especially with Robert Thomas. But if that's the ask for Falk right now, I can't imagine what they're asking for Robert Thomas. That would be something like you're looking at Marco Kasper, Nate Danielson, multiple first-round picks, because you're talking a top 6 centerman in Thomas with plenty of term left. So now that I look at St. Louis and know that that's the ask for Falk, I don't know how you get a deal done with them. I'm not saying it's impossible, but what are they asking for? We know the Quinn Hughes deal didn't happen because they were asking for Simon Edvinsson. I mean, that's obviously a non-starter at this point. You could end up with a similar issue with St. Louis. So the fallout of the Meyer deal to me is, I think many of you were right. If Yzerman gets something done, it's going to be a small complementary piece, bottom six, bottom defensive pairing, nothing exciting, just something that maybe solidifies the bottom part of your roster. At this point, the team that got them to where they're at now is the team that's going to decide if they get in the playoffs or not. And then finally, Carter Mazur's back on the ice. It looks like he could make it back into the Grand Rapids lineup for around the final 20 games of the season. That's amazing news. You did not want him missing a full year. It means that he'll be ready for the playoffs and he'll at least get in some good time on the ice. You really want to see him keep going because I think he has a legitimate shot in, a bottom six role in Detroit if he can stay healthy. And probably a fourth line guy because, he's physical, he's defensively solid, and he can give you some complementary scoring down the stretch. Also of note, the Griffins lost 3-2 last night, but Michael Branzig-Nygaard stayed hot. He has his 5th goal in 5 games. It was a power play goal. It's that quick release. He's coming alive again. He'd gone 17 straight games without a goal. Now he's got 5 and 5. So good to see. Good things happen in Grand Rapids. The trade deadline is Friday. We'll see if Yzerman pulls anything off, but with the prices and with what just happened with Myers, it's hard to believe that it's going to be a major deal. Probably a depth move. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll give any updates as they come. This was your 7-Minute Wings.